to me, that's inspirational, whether it, just listening to Caitlin, her work ethic, and what's important to her. And I mean, she's just starting, her round of golf, if her journey.
What if one athlete in a single day redefined the very meaning of a superstar? This isn't a theoretical question. It's the true story of how Caitlin Clark, the woman who has already revolutionized basketball, stepped onto a golf course and achieved the unthinkable. On a typical Friday morning, at an event no one expected to make history, Clark didn't just participate in a golf round. She unleashed a shockwave across the entire sports landscape, leaving legendary figures like Tiger Woods speechless and Steph Curry publicly astounded. All eyes were fixed on the major Pro-Am event. Why? To witness a generational talent, Caitlin Clark completely take over the show. Yet, as the golf elite rushed to welcome her, a telling silence came from her primary home, the WNBA. Her prominent rivals were completely mute on the matter. Did Clark so thoroughly eclipse her competition that they simply couldn't bear to acknowledge her success? Ponder that as you continue.
Yeah. All roads lead to the Annika Pro-Am. Trust me, all roads, all cameras, all people will be tuned in for the Annika Pro-Am. Why? To see the GOAT, Caitlin Clark, take over the show.
It all began at the RSM Classic Pro-Am. This tournament warm-up is traditionally a low-key, celebrity-filled exhibition. But the moment Clark's name appeared on the entry list, that tradition was instantly erased, replaced by a media frenzy usually reserved for a major golf championship. The news spread instantly online, turning a niche event into the day's main attraction. Hours before dawn, fans began to line the course, having driven all night for a chance to witness history. The air was electric, a powerful mix of curiosity and devoted belief from her supporters.
Places, every media outlet is covering this, and you don't say anything. That's what we were talking about this whole season. We were correct. The fans that were saying that the WNBA seems to be trying to quiet the noise of Caitlin Clark, not letting her shine to her full.
Tickets vanished in minutes, becoming one of the most sought-after commodities in sports, with resale prices mirroring those for the final round of the Masters. The scene on the course was unprecedented. A sea of black and gold and fever blue jerseys, with more Clark apparel than traditional golf attire. Vendors were reportedly unprepared, selling out of all Clark-related merchandise before the first tee time. When the announcer's voice boomed, welcoming the former University of Iowa star, now representing the Indiana Fever, the course held its breath. It was a collective recognition that this was not merely an athlete, but a cultural phenomenon stepping onto a completely new stage. Business is booming when Caitlin is involved. Pro-Am ticket demand reportedly skyrocketed by an astounding 1,200%, solely due to Clark's presence. This was no longer just a golf event, it was the Caitlin Clark Show.
Business is booming when Caitlin is involved. Pro-Am tickets are $25, and event organizers saw demand increase 1,200% for the Pro-Am because of Clark, one of the most popular figures in the sports world. 1,200%. Oh, it's because of me too. No, it's not. No, it's not.
Then came the definitive moment. Her first drive. The atmosphere was as thick with tension as a sudden death playoff. As she approached the tee box, thousands of fans fell into a complete hush. A reverence so profound you could hear only the wind and the birds. All eyes were glued to the basketball star in a golf skirt, a driver in her hands. She went through her routine with world-class focus, then connected with a swing that was both powerfully athletic and remarkably precise for a newcomer. The crisp, explosive crack of the club hitting the ball echoed like thunder, signaling the arrival of a new force. The ball launched into a perfect, powerful arc, a white streak against the sky, landing cleanly past the 270-yard mark. An impressive feat for any seasoned amateur. The crowd erupted in a wave of sheer joy and shock. Reporters scrambled to break the news, and camera flashes illuminated the course like 1,000 spotlights. The golf world immediately understood the enormous value of her presence. As one observer noted, the sport could gain thousands of new fans simply by allowing her to shine. Tiger Woods, watching nearby, offered a small, knowing smile of pure admiration, a silent acknowledgement from one icon to a potential successor. Steph Curry later called it the best first swing I've ever seen. Headlines from major sports and golf publications flooded the internet, hailing her as a natural crossover talent who had just changed golf forever.
Like the W, just the presence alone of Caitlin Clark, they understand what that could do for their sport. They understand that let's say 1,000 new eyeballs, 10,000 new eyeballs show up. If only they could get a fraction of those new eyeballs to become fans, They understand that's a win.
This immediate, overwhelming welcome from the golf community stood in stark contrast to the treatment Clark had reportedly received in the WNBA, a league some argued seemed more interested in muting her impact than amplifying it. This is where the story takes a controversial turn. While the golf world celebrated her, two specific voices from the basketball community were conspicuously silent. Two of her most prominent on-court rivals. Despite being highly vocal throughout the season, they offered not a single word of congratulations on any social platform. To many observers, this confirmed a pattern, a Cold War playing out in the public eye. Throughout her rookie season, Clark had been subjected to a physical gauntlet of hard fouls, public labeling that seemed to dismiss her talent, and intense trash talk. All the while, many fans and analysts felt the league itself failed to fully promote her historic, record-breaking season. The silence after her golf triumph felt like the final damning piece of the puzzle. Her success in a new domain, where her pure athleticism was undeniable, appeared to be the ultimate proof of her transcendent stardom, a level of fame that some of her peers and parts of her own league seemed threatened by or unwilling to embrace.
Caitlin Clark's name affiliated with the event. They know the pub that is gonna bring and everything that's gonna come with it. So obviously they are gonna do what's best for business. Unlike the WNBA, let's be clear here. It's just so funny, and I said this in a video before.
The reception Clark received from the golf community could not have been more different, creating a vivid tale of two sports. While sometimes treated like an outsider who needed to be put in her place in her primary sport, she was welcomed as royalty on the green, LPGA World number 1. Nelly Korda personally walked up to Clark and offered a powerful message of inclusion. "You're welcome here. You belong here." Another top player noted that Clark's energy was a fire we've been missing, highlighting the positive impact she brings beyond just ticket sales. This wasn't just politeness. It was a sharp, strategic recognition of her generational star power and its immense economic potential. The PGA and LPGA understood the business tsunami she represented. They saw the concrete 1,200% spike in demand and recognized that even a fraction of Clark's millions of fans could become new, dedicated followers of golf. While critics suggested the WNBA had fumbled the bag by not fully capitalizing on her arrival, the golf world proactively rolled out the red carpet, choosing to celebrate a rising tide that could lift all boats. But the true history-making moment was still to come. On hole 7, a difficult par, Clark once again faced an anticipatory silence. Displaying a stunning calm, she lined up her shot and swung. The contact was perfect. The ball soared, its trajectory flawless, drawing gasps as it landed gently on the front of the green. And then it began to roll, tracking directly toward the pin, stopping a mere inches from the cup. A tap-in birdie that felt like an eagle. And when she completed the round, the scoreboard revealed an incredible 13 under par. Caitlin Clark hadn't just played well. She had shattered the previous Pro-Am record, posting a score that would have been competitive in the main professional tournament. Tiger Woods, analyzing the shot later, was quoted as calling it one of the cleanest, most confident swings I've ever seen from a non-pro. The ultimate seal of approval from the man who redefined golf. With this historic achievement, the public narrative surrounding Caitlin Clark underwent a permanent seismic shift. Social media exploded. Caitlin Clark Golf trended globally. Memes comparing her to iconic multi-sport legends like Bo Jackson and Deion Sanders went viral. In the midst of this global celebration, a telling detail was highlighted by fans. One of her vocal on-court rivals posted an Instagram story that same day, but it was only a brand promotion, featuring no mention of Clark's groundbreaking feat. The contrast could not have been more stark. While one woman was being hailed as a generational talent on a global stage, the other was engaging in routine influencer marketing, a business-as-usual approach that felt profoundly out of step with the historic moment. The court of public opinion was now overwhelmingly in Clark's favor. The narrative shifted from a talented rookie being initiated into the pros to a global phenomenon being validated outside her original arena. The golf course had served as an impartial judge, and its verdict was clear. Clark's talent was so immense it could not be contained by a single sport. The silence from her WNBA rivals was now widely interpreted not as competitive gamesmanship, but as a sign of pettiness, jealousy, or a stubborn refusal to acknowledge a reality that was now obvious to the entire world. The attempt to paint her as privileged had completely evaporated. In its place was the story of a singular athlete, celebrated by legends of other sports, while those closest to her professionally could only offer a silence that spoke volumes about their own standing. We are witnessing something far greater than an athlete having a good day in another sport. We are watching the birth of a new archetype in athletics. Caitlin Clark is no longer just a basketball player. She has transcended that title to become a cultural force, a movement all her own. For decades, female athletes were often pressured to specialize and stay in their lane. With a single swing of a golf club, Clark didn't just hit a ball, she swung open a massive symbolic door for every young girl who was ever told to limit her potential. She proved that true generational greatness is inherently disruptive. It cannot be contained by the boundaries of one sport, cannot be forced into false humility, and will not be silenced by jealousy. The Clark effect is now a tangible multi-sport phenomenon. A 1,200% ticket demand spike, global trending topics, and golf clubs flying off the shelves. This is a cultural awakening. The question now hanging over the entire sports world isn't just about what she'll do next on the basketball court, but will she, fueled by this shocking success, begin formal golf training in the WNBA offseason? Could we see her accept an exemption to play in a future LPGA event, drawing a record-shattering television audience? If she can conquer two sports so decisively, what's to stop her from trying a third? The WNBA's handling of her rookie season will now be scrutinized under an even harsher light. Was their perceived reluctance to fully embrace her stardom a historic miscalculation that other sports are now eager to capitalize on? One thing is certain, this golf pro-am was not an ending. It was a revelation. If this record-breaking performance in a brand new sport was just her first swing, then the future she is building is going to be absolutely breathtaking. Here's what we know for certain. We're witnessing the birth of a new archetype in athletics. Not the specialist, not the one-sport wonder, but the boundary breaker. The athlete who looks at impossible and sees an invitation. These moments, when someone steps completely outside their comfort zone and succeeds spectacularly, they do more than entertain us. They expand our sense of what's possible. They inspire the next generation to dream bigger. They force industries to evolve or be left behind. The question isn't whether we'll see more of these crossover moments. The question is, which athletes will be brave enough to try? Which sports will be wise enough to embrace them? And which moments will define this era of unlimited athletic potential? One thing is certain. We're just getting started. The next chapter is being written right now, and it's going to be absolutely extraordinary. So where does this lead? Will we see more athletes pursue serious second careers in other sports during their off-seasons? Will leagues start partnering across sports to create crossover showcase events? Will sponsors begin signing athletes not for their primary sport but for their multi-sport potential? The possibilities are staggering. Imagine a world where elite athletes regularly compete in multiple professional sports, where off-season training includes entirely different disciplines, where the most marketable athletes are those who can dominate across the widest range of competitions. The message is clear and empowering. You don't have to choose just one thing at age 12. You can develop multiple skills, you can maintain diverse interests, your basketball training might make you a better soccer player, your tennis background could improve your volleyball game. The future belongs to well-rounded athletes who understand that different sports teach different lessons, and that athletic intelligence transfers across disciplines. The business lesson is equally clear. In the attention economy, you either embrace stars or you watch them shine elsewhere. Gatekeeping doesn't protect your sport, it diminishes it. The leagues that understand this roll out red carpets. They create opportunities, they amplify moments. They recognize that a rising star from another sport isn't competition. It's the best marketing campaign money can't buy. What are your thoughts on this story? Do you believe Clark will seriously pursue golf, or was this a one-time showcase? Do you think the WNBA's handling of her was a massive miscalculation they need to urgently correct? Let me know your theory below.